In this video, we will be comparing and contrasting Silent Hill Shattered Memories with Climax's original pitch document for a game called Silent Hill Cold Heart. In both Cold Heart and Shattered Memories, certain aspects of the game change based on your psychological profile. This included character clothing, dialogue, and parts of your surroundings. Both would incorporate your actions, your therapy sessions, and even items that you look at in the game. In Cold Heart, however, you would have been able to view your psych profile at any time, and even share it with your friends over the internet. It also planned to use other aspects to enhance the realism and surprise the player, such as using actual local weather info and news, which it would get over the internet through the Wii. The Wii's Me avatars may also have been used to influence things like hair color. In Cold Heart, Jessica Chambers is an athletic college student who's grown more and more dependent on her therapist as of late. She's having nightmares and decides to go visit her parents, but ends up caught in a ferocious snowstorm in Silent Hill instead. There are flashbacks to therapy sessions, much like in Shattered Memories. Jessica talks to Dr. Fairchild rather than Dr. Kaufman, but some of the sessions seem to have similar content. Dr. Kaufman makes us color in a picture of a couple in front of a house. Dr. Fairchild would have asked the player to draw a house using the Wiimote. The colors used and time taken, as well as if you use an eraser or not, would have contributed to the psych profile. He asks if we were an only child, were we closer to our father or mother, were we our parents' favorite child. Dr. Fairchild also asks about fears, such as drowning or being buried alive. There are ink blots in the guidebook, and references to talking about abstract pictures. Jessica would have had a flashlight, like Harry in Shattered Memories, but many of the similarities end there. When Harry has his flashlight on in Nightmare Parts, the Rorschachs have an easier time following him and attacking, just like in many other games in the series. When Jessica aims a flashlight at an enemy, it would flee from the light or even be harmed by it. The flashlight could also be used to melt ice, and there were different types of flashlights, like infrared, polarized, and UV. These could be used to find hidden objects or solve puzzles. Both characters use their phones in the game. Harry has no weapons in the nightmare chase sequences. His only real option is to run. He can knock things over to slow down enemies, however, and this is something Jessica could also have done. Jessica was able to use improvised weapons from the environment, and had breakable weapons, and could do violent finishing moves. Harry only lost health in chase sequences, based on how many times he'd been grabbed by Rorschachs. If he managed to get away and not be attacked for a while, his health would improve on its own. Jessica's health system was much more complex. You could track Jessica's body heat, and presumably if it got below a certain level you would die. Snow and cold would sap her energy and lower her body temperature. Jessica also had a limited inventory, perhaps to contrast with the very unlimited inventory that Travis had in Origins. Jessica can put things in her pockets and carries a backpack. Harry, on the other hand, mainly picks up mementos, and the game tells us these have no real value. Unlike Harry, Jessica's health didn't improve automatically. Instead of health drinks and medipacks used in the earlier games, she would scavenge to find foods and drinks from her surroundings. She could find Silent Hill branded candy bars, packaged food, cans and bottles of drinks, and could make use of a hydrating backpack. She could also find more clothing to use as an upgrade for more protection against the cold. These could all restore health, stamina, and body temperature to varying degrees. Harry, on the other hand, doesn't find new clothes during gameplay, but his clothing can change based on his psych profile. In Cold Heart and Shattered Memories, the Wiimote was used to twist and manipulate objects. This was seen in Shattered Memories in puzzles like the playground beer can puzzle. Jessica was also able to make use of a metal detector to solve puzzles, and a twisted piece of wire to fish for a key in the sewers. There were not supposed to be any loading times in Cold Heart. Important parts of the game took place on a frozen lake where Jessica was immersed while the water froze and trapped her. She met a mysterious man and also went to a boat. Harry also went to a boat, but with young Dahlia. Jessica finds a pipe that she takes from the boat to fight enemies, and then she is stabbed in the stomach by a young girl with a knife. Overall, a lot of aspects of the Cold Heart pitch document were used in Shattered Memories. Most notably, the fighting, the health system, and the limited inventory were removed. I think it would have been an interesting game, and it would have been interesting to have another young female protagonist, since a lot of the games featured men of similar ages. I think Cold Heart could have been a very interesting game, but I was also pleased with Shattered Memories. Still, it is interesting to imagine what could have been with this title.